Superman and Lois, episode number 2, Heritage as it's called. Great. Really fun stuff. So I really liked the first episode. I think it completely understood the character of Clark Kent, the character of Superman, and it went in a different direction than a lot of people were expecting. The parents are dead for Clark, they're moving back to Smallville, twins, one has powers. This Jonathan Kent, not like the ones you see in the comic books. It's doing something completely different. And I applaud it for that, because it's been very interesting and very engaging thus far. This episode was really good. It was really short compared to last week's, which I really noticed because I'm like, it's half the episode length that we saw last week, and it was only like 40 minutes, but I'm just like, you did your best to tell the story. I think a couple more minutes could have helped it, but it did really good, and I really enjoyed it. One of the things I really liked about this episode, and it was something I was very hesitant on going into this show, because I wasn't sure how they were going to handle the character of Lois Lane. I know that's weird to say about a show called Superman and Lois, but part of me was worried it's going to be like, we're just going to be focusing on Clark Kent and the boys getting powers and not letting Lois do her thing. Not the case. Elizabeth Tulloch had a lot to do this episode, and it was all of my favorite stuff. I thought she did incredible. Her arc in this episode, because last week we saw her kind of investigating Morgan Edge, how she doesn't really trust what he's doing in Smallville, and now she confronts him in this episode after she's writing an article for the Daily Planet, a paper that he now owns, and she confronts him at a council meeting, and the whole town's kind of against what Lois is saying, but now she's just showing who she is, and I thought that was very cool to see her words get rewritten by Morgan Edge, and man, was that satisfying. I'm going to be jumping around a lot in this review just because there's so much great stuff. But so the Lois stuff, that was fantastic. Elizabeth Tulloch did great. But that end scene of Lois where she storms into the Daily Planet, right in the middle of a meeting, everyone's just watching her, and she just puts down a note and says, "I quit." Amazing. Absolutely amazing. One of the most Lois Lane things I've ever seen. She comes back to Smallville. She's going to work at the Gazette, which is very cool. And did they say that girl was a Bibbo? I can't remember. Was she a Bibbo? I can't remember what they said her last name was, but that was very cool to see. I liked it, man. Oh, it's so great to have some good Lois Lane stuff, because I'm a Lois Lane fan. I love Superman, but my heart belongs to Lois Lane just because I think she's a really fascinating character for that mythos and that world, and I like when she's presented well in a really compelling way, and this really did it. I thought this Lois Lane was incredibly well done. Absolutely amazing. Not to be outshined by the work of the rest of the cast. So we decided that Jordan's not going to be going to school just yet until we really understand what his powers are going to be. And he's kind of upset by that idea because he's like, I just want to be a normal kid, but I guess that's not going to happen for me again. So in order to kind of help him understand who he is and what he is capable of, Clark decides they're going to go to the Fortress of Solitude. It's a very interesting ice cave. Not really a fortress, but you don't need it to. I just love that Clark puts in the sunstone and suddenly, you're just going to get a history lesson. I thought that was just very cute, very fun. And there he is in all his glory, the artificial intelligence version of Jor-El. So we actually got Jor-El. We learned that's where Jordan's name comes from. Makes sense to me. The actor that plays him, his name is Jordan Ellis, isn't he? Something like that. It's also a Jor-El. That's pretty fun to see. Very cool stuff. It made me very excited, very happy. I just liked seeing Jor-El. Interesting portrayal of Jor-El. They kind of went for the stoic weirdo, which makes sense to me. I don't think Jor-El is supposed to be the father of the year, so worked for me. Seeing him there, I was not expecting it, so I was pleasantly surprised by Jor-El's presence. This fortress, interesting design, just a big open cave, which you need certain Kryptonian things to access it, so no one's going to find it. Works for me. I'm not going to overthink that at all. And as that's going on too, you see that the tensions at the new high school are rising for Jonathan. And I like this storyline that Jonathan kind of had his entire life based in Metropolis. He had his girlfriend, he had his scholarship, he had everything pretty much going for him in Metropolis, and it got uprooted because he wanted to help his brother, which is a very Kent family thing to do, is help the family, help the people. I like that a lot. So the tensions are rising between him and the new people on his football team. And you can see they don't like that this kid's probably got potential, but it ain't going to let him show it. They're just going to knock him down every chance they get. And John, being the cocky guy of Metropolis, comes to a small town, thinks he's top shit. You're probably not. And they're doing a great job of showing that. I thought that was a very fun scene to have. And I'm liking the relationship between the brothers of John and Jordan, just because it could come across as they hate each other or it's going to get really pandering, but at the end of the day, I think they act a lot like real siblings, where it's just like you have your fight, you have your conflict, but when the going gets tough, when mom and dad are doing their thing, you're going to come together and just enjoy each other's company. You're going to laugh, you're going to move past all the bullshit and just hang out, which I think is very relatable and very understanding to that type of family dynamic, which I really like to see. I really enjoyed that, actually. I thought that was really cool. So some of the stuff in this episode that I didn't particularly love, and I know it's weird to say for a Superman show, but it was the stuff with this Captain Luthor character going around to these things. I understand it completely. I personally would rather just watch the entire family drama and not even focus on this character or any of the the Supermaning. But I get why it's in here. We got to sell this somehow. And I just think something about that. It was good. I'm not saying it wasn't good. I thought it was very well done, handled very professionally. I thought it was just it was just okay. It's just storyline's just not for me. So we see Luthor's attacking all these places. He's trying to find these places that could have kryptonite, but sadly, none of the places he's looking actually have any kryptonite because we see later that they were bought by Sam, and Sam has them for a reason we'll get to in a bit here. But we also learned that a different version of Superman killed this Luthor's Earth. Now, we don't know if this is Lex or if this is going to be a different Luthor or what any of that's going to be, but he wants to stop this Kal-El from making the same mistake as his Kal-El did, which is a very interesting thing to see. We get some cool fight scenes again. The CGI, not as impressive as the first episode, but still very consistent. I think it looks like there's money put into it. It looks very well done. I think the action sequences going into space and beating each other up, I like that a lot more than destroying a random city. I think it's way cooler and makes more sense that a guy like Superman would take a being like this into space where he knows it can't do any harm. That makes sense to me. I liked seeing that violent stuff. That was really cool. That made me go, yeah, this is how Superman would handle his situation too. That was really fun. So yeah, this Luthor's from a different world. We see at the end of the episode that there's an evil version of Superman that destroyed his planet. We actually see that Superman killing people, which is very surprising to see. But it was very well done. That looked really good too, actually. I kind of just liked it. Yeah, multiverse. We don't have to explain it. You get it. And of course we get it. We've been integrated enough to understand the plot, Kid has a hard time at school. Dad wants to show Kid his powers, goes to the fortress. Lois is doing her own thing, trying to stop Morgan Edge. Great stuff. They go to the Cushing house where the tensions start to rise again between the family. We get more interesting stuff with Lana and Clark here, where there's that little chemistry of these two people that used to date, just having fun with each other, which I really like to see. She's like, oh, now you come back to me. And you're like, oh, if they kiss, I won't be surprised, but it'd have to be a really interesting reason as to why. And even Kyle and Lois have the rising tensions, where Kyle is just in support of everything Morgan Edge is doing. But Lois is you gotta look at the bigger picture here. He might give you jobs, but is he gonna promise everything he brings to you? Look at what he's done to all these people and everything like that. It was really, really intense. I just liked seeing a sure as herself Lois. I wasn't positive we were gonna get that in this show, but man, this is great. I really liked the way Lois handled herself in this entire episode. It made me so happy. The best stuff of the episode is with Lois. I want more of it. I just want to see more of it. I could just watch a Lois Lane show, honestly. I could. I would probably not prefer it, but I'd watch it just as equally with that amount of excitement as to something with Superman. I think that's really cool. So I know I jumped around a lot, but you guys understand it. You know the show. You understand what it's doing here. There's the family trauma, because it is the CW, right? The characters clash at the beginning. They come together in the end. There's the idea that Jordan and his dad aren't really getting along there, or that Jonathan and Jordan have their tension because they moved entirely away from Metropolis. And you see that that's really the issue with Lois and Jonathan in this episode, is that they're the two that had their entire lives rooted in Metropolis, and it was upheld and moved here to Smallville. So now they are dealing with that, and you're seeing the ramifications of that. But at the end of the episode, they all come together for their family moment, which I know some people might not like. I thought it was pretty cool. I like it because, yeah, you have to do that. We're getting 17 episodes of this show. The tensions are very CW level tensions, but they work better in terms of what they're telling. I thought that was really well done and interesting. We got a couple other interesting tidbits here. We know that Sam is aware that Clark told the kids what's going to happen. He doesn't feel like it's going to be safe for them or anything like that. We see that Sam also bought all the kryptonite in the world, or most of it, so he can keep it out of people that would want to harm Clark because he's trying to protect his daughter. A very Sam Lane thing to do. I'm impressed with that, and I liked it a lot. We see that potentially Jordan's powers won't be as powerful as Clark, which of course they're not. That's a thing we've seen in the comic books of John Kent. We know that's going to be the case. We kind of all expected that something like that was going to happen, so no one's really surprised by that. But just like seeing the excitement on Jordan's face to finally feel like himself, just to see it dwindle away but kind of be brought back at the end of the episode because his brother's like, whatever it is going on with you, dude, you're a lot happier. We're going to figure this out together. Maybe Dad could help us, but either way, it's you and me, bro. That was nice. That was really nice. Great episode, man. Just really fun. I'm very curious to see where this is going to go. You know, we got a great 2 episodes that really showed it's going to be the family drama. We're going to be building up tension between Morgan, Edge, and Lois. We're going to be showing Smallville as a hopefully once again thriving community. Very excited to see what's going to come about this. It's just very fun stuff. I'm liking everything happening in this show. The actors are holding their own. The action looks great. It looks way more expensive than anything else we have seen on the CW. And I think that is a very impressive feat to see. So very impressed with that. I just really blown away. Really blown away with what this show is doing. The suit's looking great too for Superman. It looks cool. Everything about this looked cool. A thumbs up from me. I hope more people check out this show because it is well worth your time and well worth the watch. It's that new era of Superman that a lot of people are wanting to see. And I think we are finally seeing what that is capable of becoming. Family drama, high text, high intense stakes, multiverse, maybe? Interesting stuff, and a Lois Lane that's acting like Lois Lane. That is this episode. That is very cool to see. I love it a lot, and I'm just really liking Elizabeth Tulloch's performance as Lois. Very impressed. So that is my review of Superman and Lois issue. Not an issue. That is my review of Superman and Lois, episode 2. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you guys can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.